Greetings and welcome to anyone who is listening. So what I've got today is just a very brief, hopefully, presentation of our monthly energy stats. So this is covering our usage, our generation, and just trying to draw some insights from that. The reason why I'm doing this one is because, firstly, it's something that I thought I would do on a regular basis because I found it helpful when I was doing my own research, when I came across people who had shared what their own usage looked like and also what their system generation looked like across the period of a year. I have also received some direct messages requesting some information. So rather than dish it out on a one-to-one level, I thought that making a bit of a quick video might help just disseminate that information more widely and more easily. So without further ado, I will go through each of these slides hopefully quite quickly. So this first one is showing our energy generation by month. So we've got solar panels on the roof, and basically this is what we've been getting since they were installed in March. To describe the obvious, first of all, so as you can see, in March, we were just coming out of winter. We had around 300 kilowatt hours of energy generated from the roof, and this increased dramatically in April to just over 600. And then May was the best month at over 800. Then June, July back to 600, and you can see it tailing off again through August and September. We're just partway through October at the moment, but we're halfway through, and as you can see, even if you were to double that, what we've got at the moment, it looks like October will be the lowest month so far, which is as expected as we head into winter. We've got shorter days now, and that's going to be more so the case as we move forward. So obviously I don't have a full year's usage yet, but this just gives a bit of a glimpse of what is to come and what to expect. This next one is our energy consumption, again, done by month. Now, on the face of it, this is probably not useful to anyone else but me. However, perhaps talking through what this means to me might also give others out there a few ideas. So again, to start with the obvious, it looks like we had a slight reduction in use between March and April, and then that started to go up, but the looks of it all the way right into August then seems to start dropping off, which is very curious, right? Because we've been at home the whole time, and so you'd expect our usage to be fairly constant. But a few quick explanations I can think of straight away are in March, initially we went under lockdown, so we used our electric vehicle. We've got a Nissan Leaf. We used our electric vehicle, and so that would account for some of the usage in March, which then dropped off in April because we essentially really didn't drive anywhere at all in April. So which meant that usage was basically our house usage only. Then in May, we did do a little bit of driving. So for example, we might have driven to the next village up so that we could access a walking trail and things like that. So the car did get a little bit more usage in May. Then in June, schools opened, so there's that bit of drop off commuting to account for. And I think I started returning to the office maybe once a week through July and August, which accounts for the additional above that. So yeah, just some very high level thoughts on what's happened to our usage. And I guess October looks like we're halfway through, so you double that, you expect it to be at about the same level as September and August. Then this next one I think makes things a little bit more interesting. I have managed to get our car consumption data, but only from June onwards. So that's the bars shown in blue there. And what that appears to tell us there is, it chimes in with what I was saying in that previous chart, that did a little bit of commuting for drop-offs in June, and then July got a bit more usage of the car because I was starting to go into the office, albeit for a very limited period of time, and that seems to have held steady since then. So my commuting usage, which is that car consumption, seems to have held steady across July, August, and September. And then the house usage, which you'd expect to be also constant, basically, looks like it's about the same again across June to September. And for the actual readings themselves, I've added them to this chart here. And what I've also done is added our generation, which is shown with a gray bar there. So what's very interesting about this one for me is that it looks like we, over the period since March, when we've had solar, it looks like we've generated more solar energy than we have consumed, including use of the car. Now that is very interesting, because obviously that house consumption figure that we've got for March, April, and May will include the car within that. Yeah. So another interesting stat that will be one to watch out for is I'm looking to see what a whole year's worth of usage will look like. And do you know what? It will be amazing if it turns out that our solar generation is greater than our overall consumption. Now, I'm just reading these charts off, and I'm guessing there might be a few mistakes I might well have made that I won't be able to see until I review this more thoroughly. So feel free to point out if there are some obvious misinterpretations of the data that I've made. Then I guess the final thing to point out, which I also think is quite useful, is we've got a home battery, but because when we generate our energy via the solar panels, some of that will be stored in the battery. But once the battery is full, and if the house is not presenting any additional loads, the excess is exported to the grid. Now, we've got an account with Bulb under the Smart Export Guarantee, where we get paid, I think, 5 pence per kilowatt hour for what we export. We also at the same time have got a tariff with Octopus Energy. We're on Octopus Go, which means that we get a bill of about 5 pence per kilowatt hour for energy we use between the hours of half past midnight and 4:30 in the morning, which means if we charge our battery in those periods, we are actually able to then directly offset, from a cost perspective, our usage when we consume from the grid between those hours of half past midnight and 4:30. We can offset that with our exports, because we're exporting at a cost of about 5.38 pence per kilowatt hour. In fact, if we were a massive generator, you could envisage us actually potentially making a bit of money based on the 0.38 per kilowatt hour, although that's more of a joke at the moment, because A, we'll never generate that much, and B, we wouldn't be allowed to be a household seg exporter with any generation that would make that 0.38 meaningful in any way. But hopefully that's useful to someone, and I would advise that if you're reviewing your tariff, that you look into how much incentive you might be able to get via referrals, because we found that they make quite a big difference to your bill if you're able to get in. So I will link to the comment section our referral link, I think, which gives around £50 for both yourselves and ourselves for if you were to sign up using it. I think Bulb also do the same, but obviously we're not with Bulb. So, but if you look around online, most energy companies out there have got some kind of referral system going on. So that's it for now. Good luck until the next one. Bye for now.